Scoot it up. Big woofs here. Playtesting this the other day in the play queue. It's the first time I've experienced the 250 token limit. Hello, good game. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch the channel. Appreciate you. Don't forget to get in on all of our contests and giveaways. We just gave out a Scalding Tarns. This is a 160 USD mint condition foil land with an invisibility sleeve. What? That is crazy. So get in on that. I'm even gonna sign the sleeve for one Shaven Legs who won it. So congratulations. Get in on all of our contests and giveaways. Jump into Discord, put your name on the list in the Linktree link. Everything that you want in the Linktree link, right? So again, thanks so much for watching, you guys. Today we will be playing with the Quandrix Scute. This deck has gotten a lot of upgrades, and it is actually fairly competitive. So let's take a look at it, break it down, show you the gameplay footage, and of course, have some fun quids along the way. So let's get up to it. Woof, woof, woof. Quandrix Scute, 60 card, best of 1, 3.9 average with 20 creatures, 20 non-creatures and 16 creatures. The split here is basically right down the middle. We've got 20 green symbols and 24. My dyslexia is through the roof. 20 blue symbols and 24 green symbols, right? It's still basically 50-50, so it doesn't matter. And then, of course, we've got 24 land in the deck. We have, of course, the Scute Swarm as our main engine here. It's a 1/1 for 3 with landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, create a token copy of Scute Swarm. This is really, really nice because we can drop it on, our 5th land, and then our 6th comes right down on top of it. Boom, it immediately doubles. It doesn't even give our opponent a chance to remove it, which is great. So that's what the whole deck revolves around. There's lots of ramp in the deck, right? We want to be playing as many lands per turn as possible. And to take advantage of all of those lands, we've got the one and only Alrund's Epiphany for 7 sorcery speed to create 2 1/1 blue bird creature tokens with flying, and then we'll take an extra turn after this one, exiling the Epiphany. We can foretell it for 2 mana, reducing the casting cost by 1, which is actually quite advantageous if we don't have any turn 2 shenanigans to get up to. So now that you know that we want to make a bunch of scoots and then we want to be taking double turns, how are we going to accomplish these goals, right? We need both ramp, removal, or disruption, I should say, to make sure that we can survive to the later game, right? Not only do we need the disruption to make sure that our opponent doesn't kill us, but we need the ramp to make sure that we can start casting some of those more expensive spells. To ramp, we have Cultivate, 4 copies of this in deck, sorcery speed for 3, searching our library for 2 basics, revealing, shuffling our library, and then putting 1 into the battlefield tapped and the other into our hand. So this is nice, it's going to make sure that you are dropping an extra land this turn, and then you'll actually ensure that you have a land for next turn as well, which is really quite great. We have 4 copies of Migration Path for 4 mana, search your library for 2 basics, put them into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. You can also scry for 2. This is really, really nice. 2 basics pushing you from 4 to 6 is absolutely incredible. And, if you cultivated the turn before, you're casting this on turn 3. So you can really explode with the amount of mana that you have. We also have Eureka Moment for 4 mana. Draw 2 cards, and then you may put a land card from your hand into the battlefield. This is great if you're holding up some of the forms of disruption that we have in the deck to talk about. If you don't need to use it, then you can use this, draw some cards, put some more land into play, and, really just accomplishing our objectives very effectively. The Quandrix Cultivator for 4 mana, a 3/4, and when it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic force or island, put it into the battlefield, and then shuffle. It doesn't come in tapped, which is good to know, because if you're not casting it on turn 4, right, because we don't have any 1-drops, but maybe you're casting it on turn 5, or you ramped on turn 3, and then you'll have some spare mana potentially, then I think it's going to be really advantageous to be playing, say, something like the Cultivator, and then holding up mana for your Brazen Borrower, for your Quandrix Command, rather than, our previous go-to, which we still run in the deck. But I think the Cultivator, if you're playing it not on curve, is better. On curve, the Simulacrum is probably fine because, again, you're not using 1 mana for anything. But if you're playing it and you have that land come in untapped and you can spend 2 mana and now you can spend 3 mana, then I think the Cultivator kind of gets the nod. So the Solemn Simulacrum, you know, similar thing here. It's a 2/2 when it enters play, grab a basic land, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. When it dies, you may draw a card. So, you know, they both hold their value within the deck. To bring us, you know, to some of the disruption that we have, we've got 4 copies of the Brazen Borrower. It has Petty Theft at instant speed as the adventure to return target non-land permanent and opponent controls to its owner's hand. We also have the Flash Flying, you know, Borrower itself. It can only block other creatures with flying, and, you know, it is a 3/1, which is quite formidable. You know, not only do you get to disrupt your opponent's attacker or, you know, whatever their strategy happens to be with non-land permanents, but then we can play it as a 3/1, which is really nice. That gets the job done. And then we can take those double turns so we can attack in the air. And if you have a couple Brazen Borrowers stacked up with a couple spare turns stacked up, it's lethal, right? It's a lot of damage. So that's the deck, right? That's Quandrix Command. This is our other form of disruption. Instant speed for 3, choose 2, return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand, much like Petty Theft, but you're only getting the creatures, you're only getting the planeswalkers. But this is, you know, 90% of the time the only things that we're taking anyways. We can also counter target artifact or enchantment spell, which is great. My favorite thing is to counter an enchantment spell and then bounce something back to their hand. You know, that's such a good 2-for-1. We can also put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, and, you know, obviously the Brazen Borrower is my go-to here because it has flying, which is a nice form of evasion to ensure that your opponent's not going to be blocking that. Target player shuffles 3 cards from their graveyard to their library. You know, this is a possibility against a mill deck, or, you know, if your opponent has Croxes or something that they're trying to escape, you can just like shove them back into their library for them instead. Right, so we've got the passages here in the deck to trigger on top of the Scute Swarms. You know, another idea is that we could add the Evolving Wilds for even more Scute Swarm triggers. You probably could. I just didn't do it here. You know, that's something that we'll playtest in the future. And yeah, Temple of Mysteries are great if you are playing your Cultivator on curve because, you know, you don't need that 1 mana. So this way you're still getting a little value through the tapped land because it's going to allow you to scry. That's quite nice. We've got the Barkchannel Pathways and the Tide Channel Pathways, you know, just for the consistency of the land, because, you know, we've got a lot of green spells that we're focused on casting early, like Cultivate, like Migration Path. And then, you know, we do have the double blue spells later on through Brazen Borrower, through Alrund's Epiphany, again, which is no big deal once we start pulling out basics from our library with Cultivate and Migration Path. So, you know, it's just there for the first couple turns as far as consistency sake goes. That's the deck, you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. We'll bust into today's gameplay footage now. Don't forget to support, if you can, via the Linktree link. We've got all of the contests, giveaways, affiliate links, you know, Discord, invites, all of that crammed into one spot for you guys. Really convenient, really easy to find. Just Google Hello Good Game Linktree, or you can find it in the description below with a simple clickaronies. Again, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the gameplay footage. Have a magical day, and we'll see you soon to wrap up. Okay, so as we look at the hand, we've got 2 land plus a passage for 3. We can play the passage first, right? So it's not holding us back. Turn 3, Cultivate to 4. You know, turn 4, we're at 5, Quandrix to 6. Turn 6, we should have, what, 8 land or something? So that's going to be pretty cool. And, you know, we can use Alrund's Epiphany with that land that we do get. Hopefully getting the Borrower out to bounce something of our opponents to help us survive along that journey. And then also, before we cast Alrund, we want to play the Borrower as the flyer, so it'll get a double attack through the double turn. Okay, cool beans, let's go. I'm going to start to break down my draw hands more specifically for you guys, because I feel like that's the biggest skill is, you know, identifying your opening hand, what it's going to do, and how to execute that plan, right? And it's something I'm so guilty of not doing hand to hand. You know, I just run on autopilot. It's just like go, go, go. And, oh, that's not always the greatest thing. So, again, passing here. Attack goes through. They're on the play, which is cheating. And we're going to take a forest here. Oh, it doesn't matter. We can take an island. Does not matter at all. So here comes the question, right? Do we want to hold up Petty Theft this turn? Do we want to interrupt their play? Or do we want to just all run to the side? It's cheaper later. We have a Eureka Moment and a Solemn Simulacrum off the top. That's, you know, pretty nasty, bruh. But, you know, it's only doing 1 damage next turn as far as we know. It could Skyclave and hit for 3, which is still, you know, maybe not the worst. Luminarch Aspirant, it hits for 2, still just hitting for 1. Okay, see, so that's better for us to have stashed that value in mana to the side than wasting our only bounce spell here, right, on that 1 damage. So we pull a forest and we pull another island. Because I love the islands. All right, so we can Quandrix Cultivate, and that holds up our Petty Theft. These Eureka Moments are good. So good. This also stops the dog from attacking. It can trade with the Fabled Passage as well, which is probably its biggest strength, honestly, is trading with the passage. So we're good to go. Let's see how it unfolds. Ending our turn. Mall of the Macaronis is a good card. Whoa! Greedy. But they like it, because it's got vigilance, right? So they don't care about the flying. They're like, well, I want first strength vigilance. That's going to be really cool. Absolutely crazy. Scooty booty off the top. Wow. Oh no. Oh no, another land. Right, and now we're off to the races. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I say let's apply the pressure. Let's go for it. They're just going to be playing Redain. Alright, I don't think they've got a field wipe. I mean, they could. They take one of the scoots. There's still 3 in play. There's still 3 of them in play. I guess, why not? And they're going to block one of the other scoots? No. They blocked for 3 damage instead. Alright. Can't believe we didn't top deck a land. Huh. Still a decent hit, right? Bingo, bango, bongo. Down to 2, and I guess we just hang out. We're instant speed. What are they going to do to us? Nothing. We have 17 life. They get hit for 4. And even then, well, is Quandrix Command... No, we could bounce it with Quandrix Command because it doesn't designate non-land, just creature or planeswalker. Sure. Yeah! So, you know, maybe there's an advantage to, you know, not only identifying what deck your opponent's playing to set up your future playlines, but also to, you know, take that time off the start to set up your own playlines, you know, initially as well, right? So kind of set up your own story and then kind of identify what your opponent's narrative is going to be and how that will influence you. And then, you know, kind of combine those two into where you want to go. All right, so this is a hand. The scries really help us to find that cultivate, right? To get that ramp going. Worst case scenario, Eureka Moments there. It should throw us into more land. We already have the Scute. We already have Epiphany. So a lot of our work is done. But like I said, we're kind of missing those 2 key components off the start, which is ramp and disruption. You know, Cultivate, Brazen Borrower. Where are you at? We're going to go for a dig. We're going to try to find them here today. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. That's a double mulligan. Good news there. For us, I guess. Sorry, opponent. So, identify and destroy. That's the name of the game, right? Oh, we do not need more of that. Or do we? It's such a good card. No, we need turn 3 ramp. We're just looking for a Cultivate. Let's try to stick to our own script. And I twitch. Cultivate. We already have 4 lands. We can Eureka Moment. Whatever. I probably don't want to play the Scute Swarms until, you know, that 6 lands ready to drop. Because they're stuck with removal here. Even if they're untapped. Could be crazy risky. Alrund to the side. Ooh. That's a BM. Bastion of Remembrance is a good card. It's a good card, bro. So, we're at 4. We play Moment, drop to 5. Next turn is Swarm. Passage is 6. Twice on top of the Scute Swarm. Alright, so not the worst, but again, you know, I'm pretty nervous about that Bastion over there. Moment goes. Village Rites, they learn, plus they draw 2, deal 1 damage, get 1 life. Wow, that's quite a list there, Chris Kringle. And I will take the Scry because that's great. I like it, but at this point we're past it. Right? We're already dropping our Scutes. So we don't really need the disruption so much. Might be good. And do they have removal? Probably, but let's risk it. I should be able to toss the land on top of it before they get to remove it. Yeah, but it's the second passage. So, like, this is already on the stack. They'd need 2 pieces of removal. So even though they remove it now, right, they'll get it. But I can even, you know, on the stack do this now as well, right? Sacrifice the passage. And then, you know, we could have had the first trigger, but now we'll get the trigger there instead. Which is cool. And, you know, it's like, what do they have for us? Do they have 3 pieces of single target removal or a field wipe? Nervous! They could have it. I don't put it past them. Another Bastion. Greedy play. Greedy play. I like it, though. That's right up my alley. Cool. Oh my god. Woof. Let's cast the expensive one in case we pull something next turn that we could cast with the cheap one. Yeah. No attacks. Not quite. Couple Scooties. Loving that. Couple more. It's still a problem. I've not played with Scute Swarm in a really long time, but look at this thing pop off, especially thanks to all these new cards. Right, Eureka Moment, Quandrix Cultivator. And now I think we just start hitting them with the heater. How will they block 36 creatures next turn? You know what I mean? We'll just go wide. They might get a couple kills. They might gain a couple life. But heck, that's a lot of damage. Keep in mind, Bastion life gain triggers go off after combat damage. So if we do get lethal before those death triggers, we still win before the life can, affect it. Right? So it's you win the game when they're at 0. And it's like it passes to the next phase after damage. Scoot it up. Big woofs here. Playtesting this the other day in the play queue. It's the first time I've experienced the 250 token limit, and it gets there in a hurry. Yeah, that's lethal. This is the kind of deck that I like. The one that I don't need the calculator. It's not like, okay, we got to do all these crazy calculations. It's just like, here's my bulldozer. I'm coming over. That's 2 for 2. You gotta love it. That's a big hit as well. Minus 36. Woof. Okay, our opponent goes first. I can't believe they're cheating like that. Such bad manners. We've got Disruption. We've got the Scooty Bootsies. We've got some slow ramp, which typically I like to play on top of the Scoot. Still looking for a Cultivate. A clever Lumomancer is a good card. That is a good card, bros. Woof. Is this thing gonna hit me like for 18 damage here or what? Who knows? Maybe they'll be greedy. They'll play Lennon this turn. They'll be like, I'm gonna get them good on turn 3. This card is just like, it's a good card. For 1 mana, and uncommon with Magecraft that gives +2/+2 on it. Lennon gives +1/+1 to everything, which I still think is great. And when you combine the two, they're like just an unstoppable powerhouse. It's to the point where you don't even have to use plus spells. You can just use spells that give evasion, like flying, like trample, like protection, and then it's really easy to do the do. I'm not entirely sure what we're waiting for here. You gotta give it to Leopop though, taking their time to make the big brain plays into their sideboard to learn. Oh my gosh, and they grab Environmental Sciences. Looking for the land, getting the life. Defiant Strike here, drawing the card. Getting hit for 6 on turn 2. Whoa! Well, I guess we don't even have a choice, do we? We'll just try to interrupt the play here, and hopefully the Lumomancer is their only creature, and we can string together a couple petty thefts and ooh. Oh no. Don't do that to me. So I guess they'll probably take the Simulacrum. I don't know, that's a hard pick. Eureka Moment is good too. Eureka Moment might be a better pick. But then the Simulacrum, I don't know, that's a hard pick, man. They're not taking a Scoot because I've got 2, but that would be the smartest pick. If we're really being honest, the Scoot would be the smartest pick, but if they're anything like me, we know they're not thinking like that. They're like, well, they've got 2, we can't take one of those. We have to make a difference between one of these other cards. Which also still do similar things, right? So it's, I don't know if you're listening, Leo, but you might want to take a Scute Swarm. If you're on my stream while I'm recording this, Leo, take a Scute Swarm. I think that's your best play. No Trixies, I'm being honest. I'm a cool competitor. Win or lose, don't really mind. I just like to see good Magic being played. Well, they take Eureka Moment. I think that's a respectable play too. It's not a for sure thing, but it is quite good. And I honestly think that we might just pass and try to block the Spellbinder. Because they don't know what we just drew. They don't know that I've got another Simulacrum here. This could be a petty theft for all they know. So let's hold it up. Let's chill out a little bit. Boom. Savior in play. So there's a lot of creatures here for this Magecraft deck. I thought they were going to pop off on us. Another. So they've got the Indestructible on the binder. What do we do? What do we do, Bill? I think we still just take it, don't we? Right? Trade with the dog? It's either that or we're dead in a couple turns. And then maybe we'll find an answer for it next turn. It's uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable. Let's be honest. 41 flyer is good. Do you guys like my COVID hair? Check this out. I'll get it cut at 100,000 subs, alright? I would have a freaking ponytail by then. So we play a Simulacrum because it can block with the Lumimancer over the Eureka Moment that we just grabbed. And then if we top deck a Fabled Passage, specifically, then we can cast our Scute Swarm, and that's going to be great. Yeah, we've got 2 forests. That's enough. Maybe we'll take one next time. I like to kind of keep it relatively balanced. But there are things like the Brazen Borrower, Alrund's Epiphany that require 2 blue, and there's nothing that really requires 2 green. Quandrix Cultivator, potentially, but it could also just, require that 2 blue instead. Environmental Sciences! Yeah. Believe it or not, I used to work in environmental sciences. That was my division in the company. What a great card. This guy should just be, like, pumping oil around. Yeah. Good times. And now I play a children's card game. Some say a little bit more relevant to my intelligence level, but hey, you leave me alone. So this is Bad News Bears, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins. That's 5-3 in the air with Vigilantos. But without trample or another form of evasion on the Lumimancer, we do get that successful block that we talked about, right? Keeping us alive, which is getting harder and harder here as we're down to 9, but we draw a card here, and it's going to be a great card. It's going to be a land. Oh no, Fabled Passage, that's what we were talking about. Not just a land. Not just any land. We're going to get a Fabled Passage. And I might even just need more interruption. 2 Brazen Borrowers off the top would have been even better. Oh! So, what do we want to do? Let's scoot it up. This was meant to be a Fabled Passage, but then last second I corrected myself to land, and it just gave me a forest. My bad. Remember, always be thinking about what you want those draws to be. And I don't think we will survive unless I bounce that Spellbinder, so that's what we're gonna do, or else they're gonna hit us for 9, at least. I think we'll still lose this match, but you never know. A couple Alrund's Epiphanies, a couple Eureka Moments. Oh, they get it in the air. Both of them are in the air now. That is good. That's the evasion that we're talking about. That is the evasion. And they might have protection here even. So we could first... Well, no, they could just give it protection, too, if they have it either way. They might still have it either way. Bounce the Lumimancer, because it could easily hit us for 6, 7, 8, 9 here, right? Who knows what they've got in their hand? We know the Spellbinder is probably only going to hit for 5. It might hit for 6 if they have +1/+1, but it wouldn't be the lethal like we'd see from their hand potentially. And then also there's no re-entry of the Elite Spellbinder into our hand, you know, exiling things to be more expensive. So, you know, down to 4. It's unpleasant. I'm not pleased about it, but we're going to push through here. We're going to do our best. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we're just dead in the air to flyers. Right, we only have one flyer, which is brutal. It's not gonna work. It's not enough. Especially if they have flying or protection in hand. Then they just win. I don't think it's nice enough, though, is the problem. We swing in. You know, I doubt they give us a trade. They've got 22 life. Why would they ever? End our turn. We can flash in a blocker. You know, maybe survive one more turn. I don't know. I don't know. You jerk! That's game. Leo, you bested us. Good game. First off, this person's name, Solal or whatever. Most people have like a capital and then lowercase. They've gone the opposite direction. And now there's just something about my dyslexia that just zones in right in on that. It's like, nice, bro. I'm jealous that I didn't think of it. My HGG should be little. Everything else should be capitalized. Hello, ud aim. Stop it. That's not a ramp spell. It's also not our 4th land for the ramp spell that we have. So it goes. Right? That is the lands you've been looking for. Hello. Good game. With the hearts. Oh no. Boom. Boom. I'm gonna... Oh, we played the wrong land. I'm gonna flash in this borrower. No, you're not. No, you're not. We can bounce stuff. I can bounce stuff. Right? I don't want my scoots to be blocked. This would be cool to play on top of it. I don't think it would trigger twice. The last one would trigger, but we don't have enough to cast them both. And I don't think it's worth casting it. Like, they've got wipes. We know this. Let's just do the dirty. Alright, we're gonna walk right into a wipe. Or it's Doom, but Doom has wipes too. Alright, well, Scooties are out. Let's get wiped up. It's great against the aggro decks because you can just overwhelm them, go wide. But with some of the control decks, it can be a little annoying. That's fine. Maybe they're just like, we can wait a turn. Let's keep stacking value. We should have saved it. Shoot! Let's save the other scoop for after a wipe. And then we're not punished from that silly mistake. We also have these Brazen Borrowers to flash in. Right, getting them below 20, so Elixir's just Life Gain Engine. Doesn't matter if it's Life Gain Engine, who cares? It's the draw that sucks. Ooh, big man with the Doom Scar. A real big boy. I'm saving this other one. I'm not going to fold out. I know they've got another. This is plenty of pressure. This is enough pressure. And without land, who cares anyways? You know what I mean? Oh, plot thickens. Do it for 7. It could be 9. Counter this. We probably should have kept it. But I don't want to sack. Like, if they have single target and we have to sack, we'd be screwed, right? So it's like this way they have to have 2 single targets and a sack. No way. Are you freaking kidding me? Just has enough land to get through. Wow. What a lucky duckling, right? Just gets enough life. So we can top deck a Quandrix Command for lethal. But seeing as we just pulled one, I don't know what those odds are. Nope. Not good. That's what the odds are. The odds are not good. And all of this Cosmos Elixir life too, you know what I mean? So this opponent had the perfect playline for a Doom deck. Doom in play, a life gain so they survived, aggro wiped our whole field, and then danced their whole thing back. An absolute ideal playline. Barely beat us. And I'm talking barely. Just barely. So much so that if they don't have enough removal, we might win. Right? Like, if they don't have single targets on these borrowers, Wow, swipe the entire field. Oh my gosh. They've done us dirty again. So they're going to gain 4 life here. And we'll discard our card. They get to double draw. We also lose 4 life. But never give up. Never surrender. We need to top deck Alrund's Epiphany just like 4 times in a row. Okay, there is hope. Take action. Still got the land. No more scoops though. Down to 4. Come on, 3rd field wipe. Let's go. They have vigilance, which means we'll never get through, so we may as well take the draw. Yeah. Or they're gonna doom and we have to discard again. Okay, now there's freaking Shatter the Sky. Real mature, Bradley. We'll keep the land to discard because we don't need it now. Oh, what a BM. We had him down to 4. Well, we actually had him down to 2. What a BM. We could still just like top deck 3 Alrunds in a row. That possibility exists. Oh my gosh. You gonna take my Fabled Passage? I'm definitely losing life now, so you don't get my passage. Jerk. Oh, we're down to 7. That's not Alrund's Epiphany. That's not Alrund's Epiphany. We have to discard or it's lethal. And they can just untap that multiple times. Good game. Good game. We got close. We got so close. But no cigar. No cigar. Let's break down the deck. I like those matches. Alrighty. Well, I think the deck performs well. I think there's maybe room for improvement. Right? Maybe a little bit more disruption. But at the end of the day, you know, clogging the field up works really, really well. We may have struggled more against the control aspect of it. It's really hard to say. I think it's well balanced. It probably isn't tier 1, let's be honest. But it feels competitive. It feels like it's ready to do something. It just, I guess like any deck, it does need the right draw. It needs the right sequence. You need the right matchup. And if you get it, it'll go. So I like it. I love it. I'm having so much fun with Quandrix. You know, I'm sorry to everybody on the channel who doesn't like Quandrix because I've been obsessing about it. You know, it's just so good. Quandrix Command. Stop it. This just like dominates mono red decks, which we didn't come into contact with today. I don't think. Maybe we might have. I don't know. Every day is a blur here. Again, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take care. Make sure to like the video on your way out. Watch some more videos as well, and maybe we'll see you soon in the next.